Hey everyone, told you guys you would be getting a double dose of me. So here is now what we're going to consider day 16 of the 30-day journey. As you can see, I ended up right back here. So literally left from my busy day here this morning, took a little break, went home, got my kids settled, went to work at the school, worked at the school up until 9 o'clock. Then I had a client over here to end my night. So here I am as promised. So on day 16, just kind of to keep the flow going and kind of relate to the past few topics, I want to touch on some of the stages and what it was like for me going through a spiritual awakening. All right, stay tuned. So thanks for joining the Melanin Talk for day 16. Thanks for joining your girl Janae. Thanks for the support. So yes, for today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I went through my spiritual awakening, some of the things that happened, some of the stages or whatnot. But first of all, what is a spiritual awakening? For me, it was just a huge, profound transformation of like my consciousness, my personal, everything I knew of me. I basically shed that and I deepened a connection with my true self. So basically, it was like a reevaluation of what I thought life to be. And I found like my greater and truer purpose, if that makes sense. That's kind of my definition of what it was. It's a little different for everyone. Everyone's is different. And normally for these things to happen, it could be like a big event that happened in your life or something traumatic. For me, it was kind of something traumatic. I won't go into too much detail about exactly what the traumatic thing was, but I went through a lot with a particular person, and that's kind of what awoke my spiritual awakening, but it can be different for everyone. So it does involve like a lot of stages. There's going to be a lot of discomfort, disillusionment. There's going to be like an ego transcendence. That was the biggest thing, It's emotional. It's an emotional time. It was a time of isolation for me. It was just me having to find myself, and I went through like a super isolation because I of course had to deep dig within to find me. So as far as discomfort, like I feel like that's that first step in jumping into it, because you just don't know what to expect. This is something completely new. Your feelings are new. Everything is new. And like I said, for me, what triggered mine was a traumatic situation with someone. So it kind of just had me doubting a lot, doubting my entire life. There was a lot of doubt and a lot of confusion in the beginning. Confusion, helplessness, withdrawal from everyone. Like that's just my experience. You have to look up, I guess the exact definition, but I'm just speaking on based on. So like a ego transcendence, I also went with that, and that was basically letting go of the ego that I knew and identifying more with the true me, what was deep inside of me, and finding myself. Through that, like a lot of the symptoms, I already said some of them. It was feeling alone, emotional ups and downs. Like I was kind of all over the place and battling with myself. My sensitivity was so heightened. I mean, it was my sensitivity, just like my intuition, everything around me, it was always slightly heightened. But I think going through that awakening, everything was so heightened. I felt like I can hear things louder. I can smell things harder. Like I could see things better. It just seemed like all of my senses just heightened. feel like I could hear the birds as if they were right in my face. It was crazy. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just seemed like everything, I was one with nature, and I can hear so much. Physically fatigued. When I say I was just drained and drained, especially being the few times that I would go around people to try and still, get out and not be so much in isolation. I was just exhausted. All I wanted to do was sleep. I did a lot of fasting. I found myself to not have an appetite because I was focusing more on grounding and being one with myself. Like I said, for my personal reason, I did go through something traumatic, which I won't dig too deep into. But for some people, what triggers it is like the death of a loved one, you having a serious illness, like if you beat cancer or you beat something that was life threatening to you, a near death experience, a midlife crisis. Those are like all examples. Mental health crisis, so many different things, traumatic experiences, such as a breakup. You know, sometimes you can't hold it together, and that is what triggered mine. So for me, the process of just letting go and waking up and seeing the bigger picture, it seems so rough as you're going through it. And going through it, it just seems like the longest and the hardest. But once you start to come over that hill and you finally make it over, you look at your progress and you look at the past you, and you're just like, I did that. The topic earlier was basically what a spiritual journey looks like, a healing journey looks like. I made the example of like Kevin Gates, how so many people are talking about, oh, he looks terrible, I miss the old him. He's healed. People tell me all the time now, oh, you were so much fun. Like people all the time now, I've heard in the past year and a half, oh, you changed, you're different. Some, they're like, oh, you look so much better, you look happier, you look healthier. Others are like, you've changed, or you're not someone I want to be around anymore. And it's perfectly fine with that, because sometimes when you do go through these situations, it's meant for you to grow. And when you're growing or elevating, you can't always take everybody with you to that next level. People don't understand it. You don't have to leave on bad terms from people, which that's what I prefer. Like, I try to, like, I understand that we all outgrow each other, or it's a possibility that we will outgrow each other, because sometimes we just can't take each other to the next level. However, it doesn't mean I hate you or anything like that. We just not on the same level anymore, and that's perfectly fine. That's life. So it's just opened my eyes up to so much. I see so much clearer, I hear so much clearer. I just feel like I have such a deep purpose now. Like my emotions, I have so much control over them. I genuinely wasn't a super depressed or down, or I've never been miserable, never that. But I just felt like I was more lost before, and now I just have like a clear sense of so much. And I feel like I've grown a lot, and I'm only continuing to grow. I can say I'm pretty content with where I'm at now. I'm proud of my growth. I journal every day. Everything I've gone through since that first, initial step of discomfort, I've been journaling and looking into myself, because that is also a part of like the shadow work you have to do to get to know the real you. You have to fight through things that aren't the best image of you in order to grow. And once you dig in and heal that, it helps so much. So I can say if someone asked me this question like 2 years ago, if I was happy with myself, how I feel about myself, I would probably have a lot to say. Now I have nothing but positive things to say as far as how my growth went. So, per usual, hop up in the comments. Let me know what a spiritual awakening what is to you, if you've been through one, if you have any questions. I didn't go too deep into detail. It's just something that's been heavy on me that I wanted to discuss, and then it seems to flow with everything I have been posting lately. So yeah, like, share, subscribe per usual. I'm doing good. I was at 70 subscribers earlier, And I dropped, like 3 people dropped off, but it's all good because I'm going to continue to grow. But yeah, I did lose a few followers, just a couple. And YouTube, unless I just don't know it yet, I know that it doesn't typically, if a certain subscriber has their privacy settings up, they can make it so you can't see if you follow them or if they follow you or not. So I really don't know who it is, since some people turn those permissions off. But stop being a hater. Just keep the subscription. What's the big deal? Anyways, I promise you guys you see a double dose of me, and here we go. We have made it over the hump. We have made it more than halfway through. There's day 16 for you. Thanks for joining. Y'all have a wonderful night.